Hello, welcome to episode number 545 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. We're here for SmackDown on week 4 of June 2024, and it is the final episode of SmackDown before Money in the Bank, the penultimate episode of TEW 2020, the final episode of SmackDown of TEW 2020, and yeah, what a show we've got in store for you tonight. We've got 6 matches actually confirmed for tonight's show that we set up last week. The final 2 Money in the Bank qualifiers on the men's side. It's Jacob Fatu, Angel Garza, and Ronnie Hughes. I noticed, but I was like, oh yeah, Pete Dunne's in this match. But Pete Dunne's actually technically a former world champion of all of 5 minutes, but he did win it. On the women's side, it's Piper Niven, Thea Hale, and Aaliyah, which is the first of 2 matches that Piper Niven will be a part of tonight. The second being a women's tag team championship match where her and Tegan Knox defend against Chase Hughes, Daniels, Katana, Enchilada, Morgan Daniels, and Hans Katana. Dakota Kai will also defend her women's world championship in some sort of an open challenge match. Carmelo Hayes and Angelo Dawkins one-on-one again. The Creed brothers against the Cyclone, part 2. And then Queendom against Ali Maikawa, Meiko Satomura, Raquel Rodriguez, and Kairi Sane. That's actually 7 matches. That's actually a full card of matches that we knew a week ahead of time. Yeah, plus, the final stops on the road to Money in the Bank. And we are here in Montreal here tonight, 24 hours before Money in the Bank. And also on tonight's Velocity, we've got 2 big championship matches. We've got that High Wires match. Axiom defends against Dana's own Charlie Ryland, Oro Mensah, Zachary Ben-Shahar, Santos Escobar, and Javon Evans. And then in the trio style match, it'll be the Dragon's Dojo defending against the NXT Japan trio, whose names I don't quite remember because they're Japanese names and I'm a Westerner. So yeah, without any more further ado though, let's jump straight into the show. The hometown boy, Sami Zayn, kicks off the show here in Montreal. He comes out, he's starting to speak French. The crowd's losing its mind at him. He goes, if I could, just take this all in for a moment. It's great, always great to be back here in my hometown, back here in Montreal. But tomorrow night, I'm in the fight of my life. My friends, my family will be there front row for my championship match, or I'll challenge Neville for the United States Championship. Now, recently I hit a bit of a downswing on my career and I thought that I'd lost it all. I thought I could no longer get it job done because I lost to Swerve Scott back at Payback. And now I stand here just over a month later, ready to challenge for another championship, the only championship in WWE that I've never held in my hometown, in front of my people. If there's any contingent of people on this planet that believe in Sami Zayn, it's the people of Montreal, Canada. And if there's anybody in this building who believes I've got what it takes to defeat Neville and win that United States Championship, it's me. So Neville, I saw him watching tapes of our first encounter back in NXT, where I beat him to become NXT champion, so it's out there that I can and will defeat Neville when the championship's on the line, when pressure is on the line, like it is tomorrow night. So Neville, if you would be so generous, I know you could have a bit of a bastard, but if you would be so generous as to come out here and indulge me a few moments of my time ahead of tomorrow night. That'll be your last moments on SmackDown as United States Champion. Out Neville comes. He looks around just snarling at the crowd. He goes, "Do you think for 1 second that being in hostile territory bothers me? If I cared about people cheering me on, I wouldn't be such a bastard. But here's the thing, Sammy. I love being a bastard. I love getting people in this ring and brutalizing them, stomping them out beneath my boot. And Sammy, you're going to have your whole family in your front row, your wife, your children. Why are you doing that to them, Sammy? It's nice for your kids at such a young age to have to experience trauma as they sit front row watching his daddy gets beaten, bit, by bit until he's got no choice but to tap out right in front of his own children's eyes. And after that, Sammy, you've got to look them in the eye and tell them, Daddy's a quitter. Daddy has what it takes. And then next week, when you're not standing here United States Champion, because I'm still standing here United States Champion, you'll be the look of a defeated man who's got nowhere else to go but Montreal, Canada. So yeah, big US title match tomorrow night. There's 3 Money in the Bank matches and 2 title matches per brand on the card, which is sort of why Dakota's defending her belt here tonight, because it's the US title and the world title that are on the show. It's weird that I actually prioritize a men's match over a women's match, but it felt right this time. Then cut backstage, Morgan's got her 2 friends with her and Gorilla, and then the rest of Chase U walk up, and then she goes, okay, I'll see you girls later. And they leave, and she goes, what were you discussing here, Morgan? It's going to be how this could be a big night for Chase U. Okay, those girls, they still interested in joining us? Because they're considering it, but it all really matters how we do tonight. Big championship match. We've got the chance to bring championship gold back to Andre Chase University, where me and Hammy become the tag team champions, and then right after, you have a shot to getting Money in the Bank. So, we're on 3, and they'll put their hands in the middle. 1, 2, 3, Chase U, and then out Morgan and Hams go for the women's tag team championship match to open up the action here tonight. Gets a 79. Okay, yeah. They put up a fucking good effort to Chase U, given it got a 79. But in the end, our Great Liberators, the current champions, do pick up the win. Tegan Knox pins Hams with a Vulture Culture Destroyer in 12:44. 66 for Morgan, 69 for Hams, 73 for Piper, 78 for Tegan. And yeah, 79 is better than even the best person in the match score, which was Tegan Knox. So yeah, that's a very good match to kick off things here on Raw. SmackDown even. And then, Piper Niven's going to stay in the ring, and she's going to usher Tegan to the back. Tegan's going to leave. Thea Hale, who was at ringside, she gets into the ring. Aaliyah's coming out. And we are going to get that match, in a second. But first, we've got to cut back and hear from the Women's World Champion. Dakota Kai's backstage. And she's watching, her cohorts in the Liberators defend their championship. When Kayla Braxton walks up and she goes, Dakota, you got to defend your Women's World Championship tonight. Have you got any update on, who you might defend the title against? Dakota goes, Kayla, there's a lot of options, obviously. Everybody wants a shot at the championship. But we're here in Canada, okay? We're here in Montreal, Canada, and I can't think of a better place to spotlight somebody who I think's really needed spotlight here in WWE for a long time now. And then in walks Hannah Coleman, Allie, the Bunny. She's been in NXT for a while. She's got, 67 popularity. So, she actually is going to be quite good in this match. And Dakota goes, Hannah, she's the sort of girl, from my sort of era. We came into this business together, wrestling each other across all sorts of promotions, back in the mid-2010s. Before I managed to get signed by WWE, she went off to TNA. We've had opposite paths since then. We never really had that one-on-one match together, despite, being from a very similar background. So, Hannah, in front of your nation tonight, what do you say? Me and you, Women's World Championship tonight. And Hannah Coleman, she looks down and goes, I can't believe, finally making my big debut here on SmackDown. I hope it's all going to go well. And Dakota, you may have accidentally given away your championship, but I'm going to make my people proud tonight. So yeah, Dakota Kai against Hannah Coleman for the Women's World Championship tonight. But then get Money in the Bank, your hype video. Ilya Dragunov, Andrade, Utami, and Zelina, the 4 people so far we know have qualified. And yeah, we're now going to cut back to the ring to find out who the final women's participant is. 77. Piper Niven picks up her second win of the night. What a night she's having so far. She retains the women's tag team championships on the opener. Now she's qualified for Money in the Bank, defeating Thea Hale and Aaliyah 10:52 pinning Aaliyah with a Michinoku driver. It says a distraction from Baron Corbin, so here's the finish. Grayson Waller is, of course, coming out with his hot, sexy girlfriend, and he's giving it mouth. You can hear him shouting around the ringside all match, going, come on, Aaliyah, you got her, lad. This is ours, you're getting that Money in the Bank, you're taking it home. And then Baron Corbin's music hits, and he rushes out to ringside, chases after Grayson Waller, chases him through the crowd, and then they both, run to the back. Corbin chases him to the back, and obviously that distracts Aaliyah. She turns around, Piper Niven hits the Michinoku driver, pinning Aaliyah, and qualifying for Money in the Bank, confirming our lineup. Not just for SmackDown, but for the entire match, has now been confirmed. And will consist of Raw's Cora Jade, Stephanie Vaquer, and Tiffany Stratton. They'll be facing off with ECW's Kelsey Cook, Blair Davenport, and Alba Fire. And then from SmackDown, it's Utami Hayashishita, Zelina Vega, and Piper Niven. So yeah, a couple of viable options in that match. A couple of really outside picks. But, it's me, so it could be anyone's game. You may think but do you really? Then we follow up Grayson Waller, getting sprinting through the backstage area, shoving a random guy on his ass, paper flies everywhere. He goes, "Move, lad!" And he dives into a convertible car outside in the snow. Hopefully, it's snowing in Montreal. I know it's June, but it is Canada. And yeah, he drives off, and Baron Corbin chases after him and just watches him drive away. World Heavyweight Champion Swerve Scott comes to the ring with Lord Bando, Bronco Nima, and Lucian Price. And he goes, 24 hours. We are 24 hours away from my next defense of the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, since I've won this championship, I've proven to you all, whether you wanna like it or not, that I deserve to be where I am, and I am the best damn wrestler on this damn company. From Ilya Dragunov to Sami Zayn to Drew McIntyre, I've laid them all down. But tomorrow night's a big one. Daniel Bryan thinks he's the greatest to ever do it. Bobby Lashley, the almighty strength and power, words can't describe him. I don't even have to be pinned to lose my championship. And speaking of losing, he turns around to Bronco Nima and Lucian Price. He goes, "Last week, I heard what Lord Bando had to say to you. I heard him tell you straight up, we needed that win. You could have been in Money in the Bank right now. You could have been the first ever tag team Money in the Bank winner. But you're not. Because you lost to two rookies again. And I finally see it. I said it before. I was hoping it was gonna, get into your head that I wasn't content with your performances. But now I really mean it. Nathan Kelly, Drake Chambers, those guys. Congratulations to them. They're hell of athletes. Future tag team champions, no doubt. They ain't no rookies. What have you two ever done? Back when I used to hit row, I had Bottom Dollar around here, I had Ashante, B-Fab. I told them I thought they weren't on my level. They were losers that were holding me back. But since you guys have come in, you've been nothing but even bigger disappointments. And then Bronco Nima so positive goes, "Yo, Swerve, you're talking big game, saying that we're losers. We let you down. We're sorry. But last week, didn't you get pinned too?" The crowd's like, "Oh." And Swerve just chuckles. He goes, "Get out." And then they sort of look at each other confused. And he goes, "What, did you not hear me? I said, get out. Get out of my ring. Get out of my sight. From this day forward, I go this alone. I don't need no friends. Friends only hold me back. Out of my ring." And then Bronco Nima and Lucian Price do sheepishly leave the ring. They're halfway up the ramp when Bobby Lashley's music hits. Out come Lashley and MVP. They cross paths with Lucian and Bronco on the ramp and then continue to walk to the ring. And MVP goes, well. It seems our World Heavyweight Champion's life is crumbling before our very eyes. You see, he thinks he's the leader here on SmackDown, but he can't even lead his own guys. You know who can lead his own guys? The almighty Bobby Lashley. Now, last week, it wasn't just Shirai deceiving you. The almighty Bobby Lashley pinned the World Heavyweight Champion's shoulders to the mat. 1, 2, 3. Now, you can make all the excuses that you want, Swerve. Bobby, he was better than you on that night. You can't even lead your own tag team to success, let alone this division. But tomorrow night, that hefty weight is going to be taken off your shoulders when the Almighty pins you once again and is crowned World Heavyweight Champion. At this point, we just see like Daniel Bryan walk out on stage. He just takes a chair and he sort of just sits there with like a sicko grin on his face as he watches Swerve and MVP, I guess, tear into each other on the mic. He goes, P, why don't you shut your dumb ass up and listen to what I'm saying? Okay? Like I said, Bobby beat me last week. Now, I could stand here and tell you the reason for that was because my head was in all sorts of other places, which it was, but that's not an excuse. I've seen people come out here and use excuse after excuse after excuse after I beat them, and I sit in the back rolling my eyes saying, just tell me what I am, and that's that I'm the best. So, Bobby, congratulations, you got one lucky hit. You ain't gonna get another one. I ain't gonna give you a chance for a second. I see that idiot sat on the stage right now. I'm glad he's out here so he can hear this too. All you did was ignite that fire even deep within inside me. All these years of being told no, being a tag team guy, being a lower card, attraction. I'm finally here and I've proven that I'm the best person to ever hold this championship. Something Bobby Lashley's never done. Something Daniel Bryan's done, but Daniel Bryan can win this championship, but he doesn't know a damn thing about keeping a hold of it the way I do. Tomorrow night, bring your very best. Bring the Bobby Lashley that scored that pinfall victory over me last week. Bring the Miracle on Bourbon Street. Bring that kid. I don't care who it is. Because I'm going to bring me, myself, and I. Because that's all I need to remain the top. And then go back to the GM's office. Adam Pearce and Nicholas Rattigan, wow, Swerve, Daniel Bryan, and Bobby Lashley really heating up, That's what a match that's going to be for the World Heavyweight Championship. When in walks a man we haven't seen for a while, Mr. Buster Gates. And he goes, Nick, Adam, the pleasure's all yours. And he goes, Buster, it's been, 6 months? And he goes, yeah, but who's counting? You, obviously, because your show's felt the absence of the revolution. I was going to let Rufus and Nebo do things in my absence. But I yanked them off your show because, without me, the revolution ain't complete. But I'm back now. And your show is thankful for it. The executives over at Fox, they're thankful for it. And next week, I'm going to make my grand return to the ring. And advertise a new revolution here on SmackDown, led by the world-famous Buster Gates. And he leaves. Yeah, Buster's back. Yeah, he's been filming for 6 months. I know the dice roll is random, how long they film for. I think Warden, when he went away the exact same time Buster did. But he was back in 3. Buster's been gone for 6. But he's back now. His star quality is now insane as well, and his popularity is at mid to high 70s. So yeah, he did benefit from being away that long. And I've really felt the absence of someone in his exact spot on this card. So, it's good to have him back. And Buster will be back in action next week. 74. Bleh. Sure. Yeah. Angelo Dawkins and Carmelo Hayes Part 2. No Mr. Tall and Sexy at ringside this time to cause distractions. And Carmelo Hayes does cheat, but he does pick up the win over Angelo Dawkins with nothing but net in 10:05. 71 for Angelo, 87 for Carmelo. And yeah, I guess it's now one apiece between these two men. We then cut backstage, speaking of Mr. Tall and Sexy. Him and Noah are backstage with Kayla, and they're showing their fragrances. He goes, and this one is the Sex Panther. You might have heard of it. I think I have, Is it true that 60% of the time it works? Every time? He goes, oh yeah. And then we hear Pretty Deadly walking to him. Go, Kayla, why are you hanging around these two idiots for? You're supposed to be interviewing the first ever tag team Money in the Bank winners 24 hours before they make history tomorrow night at Money in the Bank, but you're hanging around with these guys. She goes, well, I'm sorry, I must have lost track of time. Anyway, now you're here, tomorrow night is the first ever tag team Money in the Bank ladder match. How are you feeling heading into that? How are we feeling, Kitster? Because I'll tell you, we are feeling extravagant, we are feeling fine. We are going to be up nice and early to get prepared for our best look when we hoist that briefcase up high and become the first ever tag team Money in the Bank winners. I mean, who's our competition? You've got those goth boys from the House of Black. They wouldn't know Steiner if it smacked him in the face. You've got those Fritz brothers. One of them doesn't even wear shoes. Is he not concerned about, getting an infection? Disgusting. Then over on Raw, you've got, Montez Ford and Oro Mensa, they've got a little bit of style, but they're no Pretty Deadly, let's put it that way. And then you've got those other, goth idiots in the grand jury, they don't know damn style. And don't even get me started on those cave-dwelling, dirty hunters. They call themselves the Labyrinth. And they walk in and go, hey, we heard you mention us, so we thought we'd stop by, Kayla, are these two bothering you? He goes, no, now you're here, what are your thoughts heading into the first tag team Money in the Bank ladder match? I know we're the new kids around here, but you've got to start somewhere in your career. Back in the day, it started just, excavating in the garden, and now here we are in WWE. The greatest treasure of all time, the holiest grail, a treasure never been acquired by anybody in the history of wrestling before. And Nathan and myself have got the chance to be the first people to ever win it. That's exciting. That will truly mean we've made it already after just 2 months here on the main roster. I don't care how many people are going to try and stop us. Our heart and determination will see through, because we will claim what nobody else can. Because that's what treasure hunters do. And then Alphabetical goes, you're clogging up the spot, why don't you go back to your little caveman hole, okay, and let two beautiful future tag team champions take over. And then the two teams start brawling. Omos and Otis are still in the background. Kayla sort of goes up to them, get out of the way of the fight. And then travesty strikes. Kit Wilson tosses Nathan Kelly into the table. The table collapses and the Sex Panther is spilt all over the floor. And it gets all over Nathan Kelly. And then Pretty Deadly sort of run away because they look up and they see Omos. He takes the sunglasses off and you can see him glaring a hole through it. And they go, oh, shoot, we've got to run. We've got to run, Kidster. And then Pretty Deadly and Tonya run away. And then Nathan Kelly stands up and he goes, look, man, it was him. I didn't mean it. I would never knock it over on purpose. He sort of smells himself. He goes, good stuff, though. And then they walk up as well. And then we just get Otis, Kayla, and Omos sadly looking down as the camera pans down to the leaking bottle of Sex Panther on the floor. Tegan and Piper return to the Liberators' locker room. Dakota's getting her gear on ready for her match. Candice is chilling. Actually, no, Tegan's probably also already in there, because, Piper had to wrestle a singles match. So Piper comes in her own, and then she greets the other three. Tegan goes, hey, great stuff tonight. Finally, Piper Niven's big chance to shine. Piper Niven, you're the only one of us that's never been world champion here in WWE, and tomorrow night you're going to take your first steps towards that when you pull down that Money in the Bank briefcase, and you can cash it in to become world champion. And then Dakota sort of slides into frame and goes, whoa, take it easy there, I'm rooting for Piper to win and become champion just as much as anybody, but, might want to watch out and see what championship she's cashing in on, because She might not get this one. And then she goes, anyway, I've got a match, I'm going to wrestle, Hannah Coleman, Cherry Bomb from back in the day. And Piper goes, oh, she back here. She goes, yeah, she came up from NXT tonight. I want to give her a spotlight in front of her home country. And Candice stands up and goes, you know what, Dakota? I'll come out with you tonight. I've got some things I need to say, and I think, being out there will make it easy to say them. And Dakota's like, well, okay, sure, I'll have Candice by my side. 80 rating. Ricochet suffered a damaged heel. Doesn't sound like it will keep him out of action too long, if at all. But I feel like every single Creed Brothers match gets hurt. Someone gets hurt in. Whether it be Julius in that tag title match they had against Bryan and Pete Dunne, or here. But yes, just as Ricochet and Carmelo Hayes went one apiece earlier on tonight, the Creed Brothers do the same when they beat the Cyclone 11:45 Julius Creed, pinning Bronson Reed. 87 for Bronson Reed, 96 for Ricochet, 72 for Julius Creed, and 82 for Brutus Creed. And after the match, Regal celebrates with his boys when... Oh, Julius Creed was the one who injured him, okay. Regal celebrating with his boys when they're jumped by big Bronson Reed, or just shoved to the floor, I guess. He shoves Brutus Creed to the floor, because, jumping is sort of a heel move, but you can get away like a babyface, aggressively shoving someone to the floor. I guess Ricochet's down the corner still selling his damaged heel, which then ends up with the Creeds 2-on-1 attacking Bronson Reed and laying him out. But yeah, the Creeds do pick up the win tonight, but it seems things are far from over between these two teams. Then see Thea, she's sulking back into the locker room, the Chase U locker room, where Andre Chase, Stu Hudson, and Shane Reynolds are waiting. And Andre goes, Thea, look, I know you're disappointed, but Money in the Bank, it's a tough match, and it's tough to get into the match. Piper Niven, hell of a competitor, she's qualified. Maybe next year. You're so only young, you've still got a long ways to grow, but I hope you learn some stuff from your experience here tonight. Just, I think I did, Mr. Chase. I learned that next year, Money in the Bank, I'm going to take it. Andre's like, that a girl. And Duke goes, what's going on here? Like, this girl just lost a match. And we're back here celebrating the fact of that. Nah, we should be getting angry. We should be pissed. Okay, Thea didn't even take the pin in that match, and she's back here, taking lessons that she can learn from it. No, the lesson you need to learn from that, Thea, we just need to get more aggressive. You need to storm out there next week and do something about it. You can't sit back here. Chances aren't going to keep being handed to you. Okay? Sometimes you've got to take them. And Shane Reynolds is there like, well, he's sort of new here, and I'm still not sure his overall, ideals. But, he does have a point, the big Australian guy. And then Hams walks in with Haley Poole, and they've got, cupcakes. And they're like, hey, who wants cake? And then we just see everyone, Andre Chase, just turn around and just go, not now, not now. And then they have to leave the cakes outside. Or Haley walks into the locker room and Hams locks herself outside of all the cakes. And then, once the segment finishes, the tray is empty because she ate them all. 86 rated match. Yeah, let's go. But it is Big Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf, who punches his ticket to Money in the Bank, defeating Ronnie Hughes and Angel Garza in a triple threat match in 14:02. Jacob Fatu pins Ronnie Hughes with a Samoan drop. 84 for Jacob, 82 for Garza, 70 for Ronnie. Okay, he normally does better than that. Was he that much of a tag team wrestler that his overall goes down that much? Anyway, Jacob Fatu was the right winner based on the in-ring performances. So now we know the complete lineup for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match tomorrow night. It'll be from Raw. It will be Jay White, Damian Priest, and Chad Gable. From SmackDown, it will be Jacob Fatu joining Andrade and Ilya Dragunov. And then from ECW, it will be Adam Cole, Bay. It will be Jimmy Uso, and it will be Solo Sikoa. So, Jacob and Solo and Jimmy, 3 Bloodline family members in that match. That's sure to, cause some interesting scenarios. Hear ye, hear ye. You're all cordially invited to the great celebration and the return of the Queen of Professional Wrestling. Join us next week when the Queen makes her return. And then Ariana Grace voice goes, no, I gave you this spot because we both had to do one of these. But if you're not going to do it with passion, I'll just take over the role for you. And she pushes in front of Ava and goes, hear ye, hear ye. Next week, the landscape of WWE will change once again when the missing piece finally gets put back into play, when royalty once again reigns over SmackDown. Real royalty, not this fake royalty that has ruled over the brand for so long. So join us next week, where not only do we begin our quests to find King and Queen of the Ring, but the graceful presence of yet another Queen shall appear. Bravo, bravo, and scene. See, Ava? That's how you do it. With passion. With meaning. AE2. Yeah, like I was saying. Hannah Coleman is incredibly over. So it was a good. And this was just sort of like one of those old school, John Cena Open Challenge matches where, a guy from NXT would come up and, have a banger showcase match on TV. I'm not sure if this is official format. But, I had nobody else really that I wanted it to be. So, I thought giving a spot to, a Canadian girl in Dev would be a nice moment. And, Hannah Coleman is the most over person in Dev in the women's side, I believe. Plus, is Canadian. So, yeah. 78 for Dakota Kai, 61 for Hannah Coleman. And, yeah, nice win. But after the match, Dakota is celebrating and Candice LeRae takes the mic. And she goes, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Dakota Kai, the Women's World Champion. Now, tonight, my good friends Dakota, Tegan, and Piper have all defended their championships. And I remain the only one of us yet to be holding a title. But I've targeted a champion for so long who appears to be ducking me. You wouldn't think it looking at the two of us, but, apparently it's the case. So, I know you're in Montreal, Rhea, because you're defending your championship tomorrow night. Where you at?
Bow down to the queens.
That's sure as hell not Rhea Ripley. We're back here. The crowd on edge, because, it's this combination of human beings in the ring. Cammy just takes the mic. She just chuckles. Just, we were never not watching. And we're stronger than ever. And we heard the same about you lot. But Candice, she's looking desperate. Dakota, you're looking worried. Tegan and Piper, they're looking finished. You can rest for now. Make your way back to your little room back there where you all hang out and have little girly sleepovers together. But since you're out here, and we're here for later on tonight, we thought we'd stop by, remind you that we're always waiting. I'd like to be known that tomorrow night, when we retrieve money in the bank, you'll never know when. And then she just ushers Dakota and Candice to leave the ring. But yeah, another interaction between these people, oh boy, gets a 100 because of course it does. But yeah, the main event is the 8-woman tag team match where Queendom will face Raquel, Kyrie, Aoi, and Mako. Next week, it is the season premiere of SmackDown, the first episode on TEW9. We have 2 matches officially confirmed for that show, the first being the singles match between Baron Corbin and Grayson Waller that is now 2 weeks in the making. Corbin looking to get his hands on Waller after Waller betrayed him in that tag team match last week. It's going to happen next week. Plus, the in-ring return of Buster Gates, the world-famous Buster Gates, as he's calling himself. And yeah, that plus the debuts of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, the brackets will be revealed after Money in the Bank. And yeah, speaking of Money in the Bank, we now know the official finalised lineups for the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches tonight. On the men's side, Jacob Fatu, the final spot in the men's match, he joins Jay White, Chad Gable, Damian Priest, Andrade, Cien Almas, Ilya Dragunov, Solo Sikoa, Adam Cole, and Jimmy Uso. Yeah, God. And then on the women's side, Piper Niven earned her spot in the match. She now joins from Raw, Cora Jade, Stephanie Vaquer, and Tiffany Stratton. From SmackDown, it's herself, Utami Hayashishita, and Zelina Vega. And then from ECW, it's Kelsey Cook, Alba Fire, and Blair Davenport. 85 rated main event. Nice, I'm glad this did alright, because, Meiko scored a 65, and Raquel scored a 68. Everybody else scored, in the 80s. So it's fine. So I guess that does sort of even out, and they did sort of carry the other two low down. But, Queendom do pick up the win. Utami pinning Meiko Samurai with a Samoan drop in 1805, because Utami's the one in Money in the Bank. Nobody else in this match is. 68 for Raquel, 65 for Meiko, 85 for Aoi, 88 for Kairi, 89 for Utami, 83 for Asuka, 83 for Julia, and an 88 for Yoko. Outscoring both Julia and Asuka. That's wild. Then, after the match, Queendom stand tall. When we get the big brawl, Piper Niven, Zelina Vega, Utami Hayashishita, the 3 SmackDown participants in Money in the Bank. And it ends with, Queendom using the ladder to take down Piper and Zelina. And then we get the shot. Utami climbs up the ladder, pulls down the briefcase, hoists it aloft. Will this be the sight we see tomorrow night? Will Queendom get a hold of Money in the Bank? That sounds like a dangerous threat, especially considering who the world champion is right now. 90 raid show. What a way to go out, close TEW 2020 with a bang. But yeah, what matters more is what you thought of the show. Do let me know what you thought in the comments below. And I'll see you now on the other side for Velocity with the big championship matches. It should be a banger. We kick off tonight's huge Velocity with RJ Siddiq in his office here. So let's welcome to the biggest episode of Velocity perhaps to date. Tonight, we have 2 big championship matches. The first, as the Dragon's Dojo defend their trios championships against the NXT Japan trio of Yosuke Akatsuka, Huang Lian, and Rikuru Kobayashi. And then our main event for the first time ever in WWE, High Wires, Axiom, Danger Zone, Mensa, Ben Shahar, Escobar, and Evans compete to become the Cruiserweight Champion. Then Andrew Everett saunters in. And he goes, RJ, you can't have the biggest ever Velocity without the biggest ever Cruiserweight wrestler of all time, the 7'3" giant Andrew Everett. And RJ goes, I've actually got just the opponent for you, Andrew. So tonight, you can be in action. He goes, thanks. Me and my giant stature, we won't let you down. 74. Sure. Yeah, that's pretty good. And the Dragon's Dojo do retain against the NXT Japan trio. Only Lorcan submits Rikuru Kobayashi, who is this guy here, with a half stranglehold. Dante Rios, Only Lorcan, and Jonathan Gresham made defense number 2 of the Cruiserweight Trios titles. So they will take the Cruiserweight Trios titles into the new game. 76 for Jonathan Gresham, 67 for Only Lorcan, 72 for Dante Rios, 52 for Rikuru Kobayashi, 67 for Huang Liang, and a 67 for Yosuke Akatsuka. Nice. 68 rated match this gets. Andrew Everett's opponent is Hideo Itami. I've had him back in NXT Japan for a while now, and about time we bring him into Velocity to cause some havoc. So he pins Andrew Everett. He gets the 7'3" giant up on his shoulders and hits a go to sleep, and then pins him. In a 68 rated match is actually better than both men scored individually, so that's good. 56 for Andrew Everett and a 64 for Hideo. Then a 61 rated hype package. I rated all of these men. That's why everybody apart from Danger Zone and Santos was bad. But yes, I'm just praying nobody gets injured here. High wires, the wires have been set up. The championship is ascending above the ring. Who will be victorious in the first ever WWE High Wires match? 70-9. Let's go. I'll take that. In terms of cruiserweight matches involving, Javon Evans, who's not quite over yet, and then Danger Zone, who got 68. So we had Oro Mensah and Zachary Ben-Shahar. But yes, despite all of these odds against him, Axiom does retain the Cruiserweight Championship. He retrieves the title to make defense number 5 of the Cruiserweight title in 1742. 83 for Axiom, 68 for Danger Zone, Oro Mensah, and Zachary Ben-Shahar. 52 for Javon Evans, and a 73 for Santos Escobar. And so we end High Wires, we end Velocity, with Axiom still the Cruiserweight Champion as he takes the championship into TEW 9. 74 rate show. Yeah, pretty sick episode of Velocity if I do say so myself. But what's more is what you thought of the show, mainly of SmackDown. And I'll see you next time for Money in the Bank, the final episode of TEW 2020. See you then.